now, but we still have that condition where that paint is peeling off, and that paint is coming off of the exterior of that building. And I think it's important for us to maintain that old historic building. One of the oldest buildings in town sits right there on that corner. And
That actually changed a few years ago, didn't it?
I'm sorry?
They actually changed the exterior of that building a few years ago.
I'm not sure when they put the paint on it.
They did a lot of other stuff too. That whole thing was had a whole facelift over the whole front of the building and everything.
And I don't remember when that was. What I'm doing is asking our city engineer, Steve Powell, to make a recommendation about who we might call on to take a look at that. And I just want to make sure that we're keeping that old historic building, that we're keeping it maintained. So again, I do not know what those costs would be. I do know what the cost is for doing a renovation on this room that's right over the storage room that's right over here in City Hall. And the reason why I'm asking for that is because provided we add a city planner, director of community development, we need a place for them to work. We also need a clerk for that position. And so changing the storage room to be able to accommodate 2 offices and a workroom would be appropriate for that job. Right now, we don't have anywhere else to put that to put somebody if we hired somebody. So if you look in your packet, there's a sketch drawing. There's a sketch drawing right just like this. If I could approach the desk.
Yeah.
This item right here will remain as storage. It is storage right now. There would be a door that would be placed in the wall that's not there now. The current door that's in this storage space is this door right here. And currently, all of this space, from here to there is
storage.
We already have some storage right here in this space. Proposing to put a door from this storage into this clerk's office, and then also a door from clerk's office into the city planner's office. And then this door coming off of this hallway, there would be a glass area here off of this door, and then this door would also be glass.
Okay.
So that is doing some renovation to our current structure. I asked CMS Willowbrook, who built the structure here. I asked them to give a cost estimate on it, and they were good to do that. I'm trying to find it here for you. It is in your packet. That cost estimate is $27,628. And then for the furniture to furnish the space is $8,727. And you also have that in your packet. Doesn't do us much good to renovate if we don't also have furnishings. So out of that $200,000 that I'm proposing in that general repair and maintenance item is the City Hall addition, which is this right over here, and then the Graham Community Building repair, and then the restoration of the exterior of the Chamber Building. And I'd be very happy to answer any of your questions you might have on that.
I don't necessarily have any questions. I was just looking at the budget from this year, and it looks like we budgeted the 200,000 last year with an expenditure of about 31,000 out of it,
That's correct.
leaving the 168 or so taken into consideration what might come in between now and everything else that comes in. So I think it's appropriate to start utilizing that fund to start working on areas of the city that needs to be worked on. Does anybody have any questions regarding that? All right.
Going on then, the rest of the items on the 201 fund are pretty well standard for us. The flexible spending account back up to 2055. We did find out today that that was at $30,400. So we have city employees who are taking advantage of that flexible spending account. So that's monies that we budget. We budget because we expend those out of that fund, but those funds come right back to us. They come right back to us. So turning over to the next page, all of those items are pretty well standard, except for the Sertoma building, the item 5345, and they made the presentation to you back a week or so ago and requested the $22,000 so that they could take care of some of their expenses and take care of the things that they do. So that is the 201, Fund 201, and I'd be happy to answer any more questions that you might have on that.
Any questions?
Do you think on the City Hall, Graham, will we start one project at a time? You're going to prioritize? How do you see that moving forward?
So, yeah, the priority on that, in my mind, is going to be repairing the Graham Community Building.
Okay.
Because that right now is, we've got open air there from the kitchen up to the ceiling, and so we'll get a recommendation from a structural engineer as to what we do. After we get that recommendation, then we'll send that out, then we send that out to bid for repairs and see where we go. So that would be the priority.
Any other questions?
No?
All right. Anything else before we vote on that, Mayor? No? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 4, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding community development budget fund 203 for 2002 and 2003 fiscal year. 2022 and 2023. Sorry. Do I have a motion?
Oh, motion, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
Second.
reading.
Mayor, do you have anything on this?
Yes, if I can draw your attention to item 5014, and that is the funding of the Community Development Coordinator / City Planner. And the job description that we have on that says that we have at least a bachelor's degree for that position. And then right below that, we don't have a item number, but we will have, if this for sure does go into the budget, a clerk who would come in at $36,400. The other wages that are on there, the assistant building inspector, item 5015. Those are contract employees who help us to be sure that we get all of our inspections done. So we have a full-time building inspector who is certified. That $30,000 is how we pay for a few others who are helping us weekly right now.
Are they the ones that come in from Tulsa or,
We got one that comes in from Inola, we got one that comes in from Stillwater.
okay,
And also Steve Powell assists us when we get in a pinch.
mhm.
So we have enough building activity in town to where that's an item that we have to have. Then item down toward the bottom with the double asterisk there, computer and software support. I plugged in $9,000 there as an estimate for computer and software support for the city planner and the clerk. So to be able to fund the job that they're able to do with the appropriate computer and software. Aside from those items, everything else in here is pretty well standard from what it has been in the past. You'll notice that I did go ahead and budget another $50,000 in for our Economic Development Trust Authority, and I would assume that they will probably ask for that not too far into the new fiscal year, that it be transferred to their account. They are beginning to be active, and so that is a way to fund some of their activity until they're able to start generating some of their own revenues.
We moved some last meeting also, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
The computer and software support, do you anticipate that being an annual thing or just a single-time purchase?
I anticipate the software support to be something annual, but the hardware and the initial investment in the software should be somewhere around that number.
Anybody have any questions regarding that?
Mm-mm.
All right. Hearing nothing else, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5, discuss and possibly recommend council action regarding Police Budget Fund 215 for 2022 and 2023 fiscal year.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Sorry.
Second.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Something to note on the police budget, and it seems like sometimes I work daily on the police budget because those budgetary items are so active, and sometimes it's a moving target. But as of today, we are where we are here. If you will notice item 5013, police overtime, and you'll notice that I have that budgeted at $27,000, when last year it was budgeted at $30,000, when in actuality, the amount of overtime that was spent was upwards around $109,000. Okay, and so we are on a quest to get a handle on that overtime. And would I anticipate that $27,000 to overspend? Perhaps.
Do we think that the $109,000 in overtime this year is directly related to COVID at all?
I think some of it is. And if you were to ask me, and you haven't asked me, but if you were to ask me if we've developed a culture of overtime, well, we have. And a lot of that is needed. There's no doubt a lot of that is needed. We have been some officers short. A lot of it has been needed. But the eyeglasses are on the overtime. And so I specifically put that budget like that so so that we could try to keep a handle on it, try to make that as a target and look at it. If you look at the bottom total number on the police budget, $4,144,780.23 is up from $3.6 million from last year. The majority of that is in the 4% cost of living allowance and adding 3 police officers to the force. And also through the negotiating with collective bargaining, we've added a few benefits. And so,
Have you added that to this list and gave it a line number?
yes, sir.
That's what I'm looking for, and I haven't found it.
Oh, no, that's not a line number on the budget. It is on, but it's included, so. it's on there.
Right, I saw it on here, but I was wondering about where it's gonna show up on here.
No, it won't show up on that budget. It'll just show up on the police salaries.
Will it show up on the total?
Yeah, it's on the total.
Within the salaries though, right?
Yes, it's all, so
Okay.
all of those.
Okay.
Okay, that's how it's done.
So
Okay.
all of the benefit package, from eyeglasses to hazard pay to whatever it might be, all of those items show up in the police salaries item.
Okay, all right. That's a total.
It's not hidden because it's on that.
Right.
It's on that,
Spreadsheet.
on that spreadsheet.
The big increase in, I'm sorry, the increase in technology,
Yes.
like 50,000,
If I might ask James to speak to that. That's that item 5260, the police
Yes.
technology.
mm-hmm,
We are moving over into a new facility. A lot of that is being funded by capital outlay.
Right.
Some of it's being funded out of this general fund.
The easiest thing to do is probably to get through that, but I can't talk all of it if you have it, but, you know, we've upgraded a lot of our stuff. We have new camera systems, we have new RMS system, new call work system, everything comes with a maintenance fee, and so it's broken down there.
okay.
So yes, it's went up dramatically, but it's all because of some of our stuff, Chief's done such a good job of keeping this stuff going for years, but
It's time to
ran out,
update.
So we're gonna have an increase in cost.
Now we're going to try to move it.
5033.
5033. 503.
Ours was 25. I just looked at this for the first time a minute ago, sorry. If that went up.
No, I think that's correct.
Okay.
Ask them to count the number and add it up. And so
Okay.
that's correct.
What was our total last year on fuel? I know it was a
On
lot.
our fuel consumption,
It got worse.
which line item is that?
5102.
Mhm.
Right now, we're at 97,964 according to the report that he was printing off for me.
Okay, so that's gonna be pretty close to it, isn't it?
Yes, sir, we have a fuel bill that will be coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
Everything that we paid this since council comes out this year.
Yeah, and I was just wondering because there's no telling what it's gonna be down the road, where the fuel prices are gonna go. I'll just make sure we got enough to cover it.
We'll have enough in, we'll have enough in our funding to cover it.
Okay,
But, well, I mean, last year we budgeted 75,000, and this year our receipts are $97,000.
so that's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, so if we, so to answer your question on that is, who knows?
Well, sure, uh-huh.
So,
Just a quick question regarding the overtime. Do we have a plan in place or a plan in the works to attempt to alleviate some of that cost?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
hopefully to control it a little better. I think I explained this earlier, some of this was because we were short dispatchers. And so we had dispatch overtime that was associated with that also. And we've got dispatch filled at this time, and hopefully everybody will stay with us. And we anticipate that we're going to be able to cut that down substantially. But again, if there's some emergency or something comes up, I can't guarantee that.
Correct.
It seems like something does come up every year,
Sure.
some unforeseen event that we hadn't planned for.
How many
We'll do our
dispatchers
best.
do you have now?
How many dispatchers? We have 6 people, including
Awesome.
the records right now.
Awesome.
I would like to draw to the committee's attention that in this year's police budget, it's on page 9 of that report, that of $3.6 million, they've spent about 90.4%. And so the unexpended on that is $348,000. So there are places on that budget where you can see that they have not spent the full allotted. So overall, the police department has done a good job of managing their budget for the fiscal year. And really, the only thing that looks out of line or looks out of balance is that overtime. And there are good reasons why
Right.
that we've had to do that.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
No?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 6, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding fire department budget, Fund 217 for 2022 and 2023 fiscal year. Do I have a
Motion.
motion?
Second?
Okay. Mayor?
Madam Chairman, the fire budget is pretty straightforward. Fire utilities, if you look at 5051, budgeting $24,000 compared to $11,000 last year. You may not realize this, but our fire department is going to be moving into a new facility, you know? So those utilities being shared with fire and with police, we're trying to budget that appropriately.
To that point, Mayor, just a question.
Yes,
We're going to keep the Ninth Street
yes,
Yes.
fire station open, so we still have those utilities also, don't we?
that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Yes, we still have those utilities that we will be paying. If you look at the utilities, 5051 on 217,
It's gone up
It's gone up
about
to 24.
13,000.
fire utilities, we budgeted 11,000 and we've paid to date 8,900. So budgeting that item up is appropriate, but also trying to include something. And really, that's a shot in the dark. It's a guess.
It all
It's an
is, yeah.
educated guess.
Especially with
with that.
natural gas fixing to take a hike.
The repair and maintenance item, have that up to 30,000 from the 24,750. BK shared a few items with me and felt like it was necessary to do that, to move that up. The fire capital outlay of the $13,000, we kept that where it is, so that we have the ability to be able to purchase some of that equipment, to replace some of that equipment, also to put equipment over in the new facility. The $2,038,786.27 is up primarily because of the 4% cost of living allowance, adding 3 new firefighters, and some of the benefits that were negotiated through collective bargaining.
Okay. Any other questions
I
or
have none.
No?
concerns? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 7, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding Park Department Budget Fund 219 for 2022-2023 fiscal year. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Frank's done a real good job of managing parks and cemetery. In the parks item, we have the 4% recommended cost of living allowance, and everything in there is pretty well as has been, except for the park pool. I went ahead and put in the pool repair and maintenance item there, not knowing really if that pool's going to be available, but planning that it might be. And so we went ahead and decided we would put some numbers in there regarding the pool. Also, you see the item 5012, the park wages pool, and the management there. Last year, we budgeted $26,000. Well, you know what? We really didn't have to budget $26,000 because half of that comes out of one fiscal year and half of it comes out of another fiscal year. So we dropped that down to $13,000 just because that was what's real there. The total on parks, because of the mainly because of the wages and the cost of living allowance at $490,593.41 compared to last year of $487,691.43. Just a little bit of a change there.
Looking at this, park health insurance looks to have gone down. Is there a reason for the health insurance to go down?
Yes, we have, we don't have the aging of employee in that, in the Parks Department this year, this next year, that we did have when we were budgeting last year. And so that's the reason for that.
Okay.
Frank, did I say that right?
I don't have any other questions on
I
this,
don't
do you? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Item number 8, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding municipal court budget Fund 231 for 2022-2023 fiscal year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
There.
Madam Chairman, we did not approve this the other day, and this is basically almost the same as it was for the previous year. We do have the 4% cost of living allowance in that item as well. If you look on the back page, you'll see the total per Jeff Coker, legally budgetable amount of $10,173,637. And that's the main reason why I wanted to have this item in front of you tonight. And Jeff is here tonight, and I would encourage you, if you have any questions about the general fund, anything about this budget, that feel free to ask Jeff. This $10,173,637 is what we're allowed to budget per statute. And in the 201 that we looked at earlier, that 355,732.93, that general unallocated reserves and excess, that's a lot different than the $1.2 million that we had last year. That's a lot different. But because of the increase in the wages, some of the benefits through collective bargaining, that all comes out of our general fund. And I'm thankful that we're able to budget $355,732.93 back to our unallocated reserves and excess.
I would like to ask Mr. Coker if he could kind of explain, well,
Mr. Jeff?
sorry, just in discussing some of this and the difference in the unallocated reserves and excess, is that something we need to be concerned about and something we need to be watching or doing something different
I think
with?
you should always be watching.
Absolutely.
Okay, excuse me. I think you should always be watching the budget, make sure that, your income and your outflow are going okay. Yes, I mean, that is certainly less. I do think, however, well, we'll have to see, but, see, this number, the 10,173,000 was calculated at the end of May, because we don't know until the end of June exactly how much we actually
Right.
get to budget. At the last count before, well, let's see, let me look here. Right here, the fund balance was 3,462,000. This is on June 30th, but it doesn't have any adjustments and whatnot. But, so that was actually more than I had when I calculated this figure. Actually, I think I was maybe a little negative. So it might go up. That unallocated might go up, but I'm not going to guarantee that until I see what's outstanding yet. I haven't got that. But I think you just need to be careful, like always, and make sure that inflows and outflows are going according to plan, and if they do go according to plan, then you should be fine. But if things change, then you may have to make some changes, or not do some things, or however that works.
Mhm.
So, it's a good budget, it just needs to be monitored and
Closely
adjusted as you go along.
All right, that was my main question. Does anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Mr. Mayor, anything to add to that before we vote?
I would just say that there are a few unknowns, and I think that I've pointed out those unknowns. The unknowns are some utilities, the unknowns are the repair and maintenance on the 201 fund. And I'm sure that council will be considering, as will budget personnel be considering, some of those numbers as we know what they are, so that we can plug in and do the repair and maintenance that we need to do on our facilities.
All right, thank you. Any other questions based
No.
on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 9, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding street budget fund number 14 for 2022-2023 fiscal year, pending street committee approval on June 28th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Okay, I'm going through my papers here.
Did street committee approve it on June 28th?
Street committee approved this a couple of days ago, and Steve Powell, our city engineer, was there to ask any questions about the street and drainage projects. If I could draw your attention to the item 5034, I'm sorry, yes, 5034. We're proposing to put surveillance cameras at the street department. That way it hinders things leaving, it hinders the vandalism. We've had a little bit of that, not much, but a little bit with street department. Also, his computer is about toast. And it needs to be replaced, and we decided to try to fund that out of that line item. Item 5092, the street drainage projects. You'll see the drainage projects are significantly more budgeted this year than they were last year. We've got a 7th Street drain that we have just about obtained all of our easements. We have one left to go. The Bailey Street drain, back to the 7th Street drain, that is behind Goldie's. behind Goldie's, and all that all that drain that goes through there and goes behind those houses, going through and renovating that drain and being able to put riprap in there and cleaning out the dead wood and all of those things so that we're not as apt to have flooding in those residences. So 7th Street drain needs to be done. The Bailey Street drain, that's right across the street west of Shipman's Funeral Home. And there are 2 properties there that the city now owns and acquired through abatement process. And so when we get those gully washing rains, the water just pours off through. Actually, there's a drain underneath the Steve Shipman's, the Shipman Funeral Home parking lot there. And I'm not sure what size drain that is, but it pours out through there. And the homes that are downstream, they occasionally do get water in them. And so it's something that we need to tend to. Also, the Nunley, we call it the Nunley ditch repair. When we, Municipal Utility Board went in and completed the sewer line construction north, well, that created a little difference in the way Salt Branch flows through there. Diverted some of that water a little bit, and we've discovered that there's, we're beginning to get quite an erosion issue through there. So the Nunley ditch repair is also something that we're proposing that we do. Those, I'm not sure if those are in your packet or not. I don't think that they are.
Haven't seen them.
I don't see
Okay,
those.
I don't think that they are. If you'd like to see some of those estimates from Steve Powell, I'd be very happy to show them to you.
Okay, yeah.
There's all, it's a street, sorry. Got street and we've got drain. And we've got some of my hand scratches. Here's the Bailey, projected 135.14. I'm sorry, that was the street part of that. Yeah, that was the street part of that.
This is the
So
drainage.
the 243,501 is the drainage part of it. 7th Street drain, 458,219. Get some other notes in here too. And the Nunley item is 13,440. So,
So what did you say again, the Bailey Street?
243, 501.
Okay.
Ma'am, may I move on?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Street gasoline and oil, we bumped that up from 35,000 to 45,000. Some of the concrete materials, we anticipate that concrete materials are going to go up in price, but we have not gotten any quotes on that. We kept that at the same 30,000. We don't buy a lot of concrete necessarily, but when we do, we'll find out. Street mowing's up a little bit. Going over to the next page, item, or it may be your next page or not, item 5410. The $675,852 is down from the $733 that it was last year. We have the Third Street north-south alleyway between Row and Van, half mile on 510 Road, a half mile on Gaither south to Southeast First and Graham, and then the Bailey Street that goes along with the drainage project. Excuse me. The alleyway that goes, if you'll picture from where First Priority Bank is, and the alleyway that's north-south there that goes down to First Street, that's primarily the alleyway that we're talking about redoing. And when that says Third Place, Third Street, I believe that is incorrect. So that alleyway between Row and Van, between Graham Avenue and First Street is what we're basically talking about. And then on 510 Road, if you can picture where, just going south on Highway 69, just right across 69 Highway, or right across the Pryor Creek Bridge. That first intersection is 510 Road, and that's city limits. So that's not county, that's city limits. Well, there's some chuck holes in there like that that need to be replaced and repaired. And I think it's time to go ahead and do that. And then also from Gaither, so on Gaither Road from Southeast First to Graham Avenue, if you can picture where that is, east of Cemetery to the first intersection, that's Gaither Road, and then going south from there to New Highway 20. And there's some pretty rough areas in there. There's residences in there that roads used a lot. So that's part of the plan. And then the Bailey Street that's there east of Shipman's, and it goes along with the drainage project. So those items come to $675,852. Street capital outlay, the next item that's on there, 5411, $272,000. The old trucks and plows. One of them's got rust in the floorboard, and it's time to make a change there. And so that's what we're proposing, that we budget the $272,000 to make that replacement of those trucks. There are two of them. So total $2,919,976.32.
Is the 272,000 in the capital outlay based on estimates that have been obtained or research that's, I'm assuming?
Let me talk to you about those two trucks. Those are on order pending approval.
Okay,
Those are on order.
Okay.
So we have quotes on those.
so we know.
Good hard quotes on those. And those are on order pending approval of the city council. I'm estimating, if you want to write these numbers down under that total on that page, estimating that tax funding, $1,862,518, $1,862,518 estimated in tax funding. Estimating taking $921,458 from reserves. That gives a total of $2,919,776. Is that what our total is?
What was that second number?
Yep, 976. That's going to leave remaining in reserves of $1.2 million in the street fund. Street fund,
Can you repeat those numbers for me real quick?
Yeah.
I can, and I will. So estimating $1,862,518. That's our estimated sales tax revenues.
Okay.
We take $921,458 out of reserves. And that leaves then the total, that's a total of $2,919,976. Remaining in reserves, if we take the $921,458 out, that leaves in reserves $1,256,197. So right now, we've done a good job this year in working our street budget. We could have spent more. We could have spent more in our street budget this year. We chose not to. We chose to build those reserves. We had kind of depleted those reserves over the last couple of years, chose to build those reserves back. And so right now, we have well over $2.5 million in reserves there. So that's, I think that's probably healthy.
All right. Any questions? Anything else, Mayor, on that?
That's all I have now.
All right. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 10, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding Economic Development Trust Authority Budget Fund 98 for 2022 and 2023 fiscal year.
So that is a budget page that you have in your packet. You can also look on the back of your, it's the back page. Mr. Shropshire asked about that 98 fund, about the Economic Development Trust Authority. And right now, there's $34,050. That $50,000 has not been, that we voted to do, has not been transferred over yet. So that would bring that to $84,050. And currently, there's not anything budgeted to expend out of that fund. I do know that that's going to change, but currently, there's not
nothing.
anything to budget out of that fund.
All right. Does anybody have any questions on that?
We don't have a motion on that yet.
Oh, somebody
Motion.
make a motion?
Second?
All right, now is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 11, adjourn. Get a motion?
Motion? Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.